Hey, Roy here. I've got a real question for you about fear and about your concerns with respect to your future. And it's such an important subject because it seems to really hold everyone back in life. There's a question I start when I start my intro sessions. It's always about what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And it's a kind of disturbing question because it kind of thinks, well, I don't know, or I've got this plan, or gee, you don't know my girlfriend, or you don't know my wife or husband, or I have this job, or I can't do this, to, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and just people with different plans, different strategies, if you will. But the second question I ask is, when was the last time you felt any financial stress in your life? And from that, I get a question down the front, a bit of a laugh to someone at the back saying, oh, it was yesterday, last week, today. So here's the question to you. When was the last time you had financial stress? When was the last time you couldn't do what you needed to do? When was the last time you didn't have a choice you felt, or the circumstances were overwhelming, or you're frustrated, you need to buy a new car, needed to buy a house, need to rent, can't get it, don't qualify, got to get your teeth fixed, like it's just on. In my view, every 90 days we get tested with usually something important. And if you look behind it, often it's money. There's money involved, All relationships, 87%, all marriages break up over money. So I'm just wondering how long you want to keep putting your life off before you live it, and what really happens with this? What really goes on for you in the sense that, what needs to happen, I guess. And that's what this little story's about. You already know what's happening. It's basically your identity producing the outcome, your personality. Personality kind of gets you to think, feel, and act. That's what your identity is all about. And how you feel, how you think, how you act produces the results in your life. And I think intellectually everyone understands that. Where the challenge comes is that people aren't really, clear about how do they overcome this? How do they get charge of this situation? Because sometimes their feelings, their actions, their thoughts, they're so overwhelmed. So I guess that's where I think the neuroplasticity we have in our brain, if we understand how to use this enormous instrument, we think they're the results of these circumstances externally to us, and it's just not true. And people, I often use the words in my own language that I create wealth, and to a large extent that's my kind of vision of the world. But what's my real truth? I'm a generator of wealth. We generate things, and we generate it through the energy and the connection, because we are only consciousness and energy. Now I know that's kind of a bit out there. However, it's just so overwhelmingly true for me and from my observations of what people are doing. And if you're thinking this could be interesting to you, we've got a lot of material on this that I'd love to share with you. But I guess what I really want to share with you is a very practical process here. That if fear is showing up in your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your feelings, in what's going on, then your body's going to react to that. And if you don't deal with fear in a very careful manner, it's an emotion, and the emotion will attach itself to wherever in the physical level, the next level down, to part of your body. And if you've got a weak back, it'll show up as back pain. If you've got a knee that doesn't work, it'll show up as your knee sore, your neck sore, something sore, because the body can't speak, but it can talk to you, and it will talk to you through your emotions, whatever's going on. So these are clues, these are signals, if you will, that you are not coherent, you're not congruent, if you like, in your life. Now, we've been a successful country for the last 27 years. We've had no recessions, and it's pretty amazing. We're the top country in the world for this. However, I believe we're actually heading for one right now, and not in the strictest sense we're all going to die, and it'll just mean that there's going to be harder to get jobs. And you'll notice, and it may not even technically show up the way the accountants or the economists want it to show up, 3 consecutive quarters or something. It's more about what's going on for people in their ability to feel comfortable to spend money. And you'll see if you just walk down any mall, any area, and you will see some of the difficulties. You'll see shops not as full. And the reason is people aren't spending, and they're not spending because they don't feel confident that they can, especially anything discretionary, to go to a restaurant, to do and spend money. They'll still go to the movies, they'll still spend in other areas, but they're going to become more selective. Mainly they go to movies and drinking because it's an escape, or they go to the races and try and win some money, go gambling, which is unfortunate. However, I believe that, and for me, I won't be participating in the recession. I believe you cannot participate if you so desire. I believe that stress is a code to fear. Follow the stress, you'll see the fear. And so there's an overwhelming other aspect to our life that has this be this way. And I think that's more important in working through your health, your wealth, and your wisdom. And at One Life and Lifespan, we were always around this issue called, how am I going to get my life better? How am I going to get my relationships? How am I going to get my finances? How am I going to get my health? Because it's all this, they all are linked. And our spiritual connection, and really, checking out from meditation where you disconnect from your body. That body feeling thing is giving you the uncomfortableness that there's something that needs to be addressed. So if you're willing to look at that, we're the place. So get one of our coaches to help you discover what is necessary. There's a discovery, there's a journey here that I think is for everybody. And if you're a new client with us, please check the little web there and click on and get my book. We got $1 to $1 million in 7 years or less. The existing clients watching this know my book. It's 50,000 copies. It's just a beginning of some really wealth strategies. We'll send it to you for free, the book, and it's just postage and handling, so you know the routine. But it gives you an insight of life. We've also got it on an e-book, and we've also got it on a audio book if you wish. I think it's time. I think when you plant a tree, 20 years ago. Second question: when you plant a tree, if you didn't do it 20 years ago, you plant it today. Would my information have been good 20 years ago, 10 years ago? Yeah. And today is still the first day of the rest of your life. So if fear's an issue for you, I'm going to suggest check in this. Make your life make it fearless. Make your life a mastery. Lovely talking to you. Let's catch up. Talk to one of our people. Thanks so much.